Hello everyone and welcome to the Italian Grand Prix in Season 1 of my F1 2020 career mode. This is set to be a very good race for us. We have a very good power unit in the back of this car, the Honda. Mechanics have worked wonders to improve it over the season, and we are right on par with the best power unit on the grid, and this circuit is all about straight line speed. But you can see there we have a long way to go before we catch up to Mercedes in overall performance, but we are right on par with the likes of Red Bull, Ferrari and Racing Point. Q1 is wet conditions, but strangely enough it's not wet enough to call for the intermediate tyres, so we set our time on the dryers right at the end of the session, and we are in third position in Q1. So great pace there in the first session of the first qualifying session of the weekend. Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc ahead of us, but look at the pace from the Alfa Romeos. They are flying in these conditions. Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi 8th and 9th in this session, so both Alfas into Q2 at their home race. Of course, Alfa Romeo being an Italian brand, but there's a notable omission from the top 15 as we scroll down to the bottom of the list. Last place, Lewis Hamilton. He has absolutely made a huge mistake in Q1. I don't know where that sentence was really going, but that is huge for Lewis Hamilton, the championship leader, and he will be starting from the back of the grid here in Italy. What a disaster for Hamilton, and that will certainly shake up the results and the podium for this weekend. He has a lot of work to do in the race, but for us, we move on into Q2, and we need to try and get through on just a single set of tyres like we did last time out, and we took the risk and just went out right at the end to try and set a lap time, and we do come across the line. Where will we qualify? P8. We are through into Q3 on the single set of tyres. The track evolution on our side there in that session, but that was a little bit closer than what I might have liked, down in 8th position, but we do get through and into Q3. Daniel Ricciardo tops the session. Valtteri Bottas third. Ocon third. So yeah, he is absolutely flying in that Renault. Both Renaults first and third, so great pace from them. Magnussen gets into Q3 as well, and in fact Räikkönen and Giovinazzi only just missed out. George Russell did a good job in that Williams to get out of Q1 as well. Both McLarens were knocked out in Q1, I've just noticed there, but yeah, crazy starting grid so far with the mixed conditions in Q1, the track evolution in Q2 catching a lot of people out, so it's all down to Q3. Bit of a mistake on the exit of the final corner, but we do come across the line and go fourth fastest at the moment with Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc ahead of us. I think we can match those two if we get our lap together. We're very close to Red Bull and Ferrari on the R&D chart, and out of those two cars, the Red Bulls are quite slow in a straight line, so we should be able to beat them at least around this circuit. And the Ferraris, they've had their power units nerfed, remember, earlier on, so we may have a good chance of beating them as well. So we are gaining massively through Ascari. We were quite slow through the first chicane. We lost time there, but through Ascari we gained a good 6/10 or so. Then through Parabolica, losing a tiny bit of that time, but it's not a huge deal. We've gained a huge amount over our previous lap. We come across the line. Where will we qualify for the Italian Grand Prix? P2! We are going to be starting on the front row here in Italy at the home race for the team.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Bottas, the scientist, and Charles Leclerc. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
What an unbelievable qualifying session. Daniel Ricciardo up in P4. Great qualifying for him as well. Ocon P6 in the Renault, the other Renault. So it's a good result for the Renault boys. Magnussen are not able to improve from 10th position, but still a mighty effort from him in the Haas to get into Q3. And Sebastian Vettel nowhere near his teammate. So not the day he would have been looking for at the home race for Ferrari, but we are the lead Italian car here, so That is huge for us going into this race, so let's make the most of it.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations, and it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of Turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap. So always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and the scientist completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen and Ocon, Stroll, Perez, Vettel and Kevin Magnussen, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Romain Grosjean and Kvyat, Russell, Sainz, Alexander Albon and Nicholas Latifi. Hamilton and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Okay, this is the team's home race. We're all relying on you to impress today.
Alright. Grid penalty for Lando Norris. He was in the bottom 5 anyway, but eagle-eyed people may have noticed at the end of Q2, Bottas got through on the medium compound tyres. We can do the one-stop, by the way, but that means he'll be a little bit slow off the start line. We may have a chance to take the lead here as we get ready to get going for the Italian Grand Prix.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
This is one of the most important race starts of the season as we wait for the entire field to take their place behind us. It's an unusual feeling, but we've got a clear view ahead of us as we now go to the 5 red lights. And the lights are out. We are underway for the Italian Grand Prix. Wheel spin for Valtteri Bottas. We've got the better start and we're going to take the lead as we head along the run to the first corner. We've got an angry pack of cars behind us. We've got to be very careful in the braking zone here, covering off the inside a little bit deep though into turn 1, but we're going to park it on the apex, make sure we cover it off, and we are through and into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. Bottas and Leclerc battling side by side behind us. We're going to try and give a bit of slipstream to Charles Leclerc, get the Ferrari alongside and keep those two fighting as we head into the Della Roggia chicane for the first time in this race, and we have held it through and taken the lead. We're a mile ahead as Bottas and Leclerc losing time as they're side by side. We've got a huge advantage in this race, and that is an absolutely perfect start. Charles Leclerc on the soft compound tyres able to get ahead of the Mercedes, the much faster Mercedes on the medium compound, so that is crucial for him. And Bottas will just need to limit the damage in these early phases as we make a bit of a mistake into Ascari. I can't speak, I'm too excited about this, in the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. But yeah, we need to limit the mistakes. Bottas will need to limit the time loss on the mediums and try and come through the field, I suppose, on the soft tyres at the end. I assume he'll be doing a one-stop. That Mercedes should probably have the tyre wear to do that if we have the tyre wear to get away with it. But Charles Leclerc I am not so sure about. But we've held the lead for the first lap. But as we move on through the race, Charles Leclerc is going to make the move. But really, we don't need to fight him at this point. We need to run the fastest race that we can. We do not have the fastest car in the field. But if we can just get the tow rope out, hook onto the back of Charles Leclerc, and just sit in the DRS in the slipstream, and just deploy enough fuel and energy just to stay within 1 second of Leclerc, we could be in with a good chance of a podium. I was excited about taking the lead, but realistically, a race win is highly, highly unlikely given the just the pace advantage that Mercedes have. Hamilton out of the picture really, but Bottas on the alternate strategy. We can't sort of fight him because we'll be at different parts of our sort of respective races. But we continue on through this race, defending from Valtteri Bottas, but he's made the move around the outside to the inside of turn 2, and like I said, we can't fight him because we're not in the same race. So again, we couldn't really keep up with Charles Leclerc the way I wanted to, so we're going to try it again with Bottas, get the tow ropes out, and just hook along, sit in the slipstream and the DRS, and try and stay close to him. Ricciardo tries to go for a move on us there. We shut the door quite harshly into the Della Rocha chicane. Here's the onboard with Ricciardo, and yeah, we didn't see him coming, to put it bluntly, but no damage for Ricciardo. We're able to march on, but as we continue on, Bottas defending into the first corner, so he's clearly feeling a little bit of pressure at this point in the race, and I have to say that it's not terribly difficult to stay close to these cars. We have, at least in the DRS, some very, very good pace, and as we come out of the final corner, we've got some lightning pace just here. As we come towards the line, we've got to have the DRS. We've got to be able to re-overtake Valtteri Bottas and retake second position in this race. So we have the pace to take it to Mercedes here, at least on the softer compound versus Bottas on the mediums. We can fight him, so that gives us at least some nugget of hope that we can fight him later on in the race if we end up at the same piece of tarmac. But we need now to have 1 or 2 mega laps and catch right up to Charles Leclerc, because we are not in DRS range at the moment. But you can see already trying to cut down that gap. It's down to 1.5 seconds as it stands, so we just need to gain a couple more tenths over the next short time.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the
And
race
with the
so far.
fastest lap of the race, we do just about by a few hundredths of a second, if that, get within DRS range.
You're gaining on the car ahead.
And we are slowly inching closer and closer to Charles Leclerc as time goes on. Each time we cut on to the same part of the track, just millimeters closer every time it seems. But Nicholas Latifi retires from the race with a mechanical failure, and the Williams driver will not finish his first Italian Grand Prix. Disappointment for the Canadian.
The car ahead is starting to create a gap. They're starting to pull away from us.
But yeah, Leclerc just maintaining the gap at the moment, and there we've actually lost DRS to Charles Leclerc, so we need to really get our act together and just pull our socks up and get the job done here on this lap and go for another fast lap. I don't think we can set another fastest lap from where we are at the moment, but through the first chicane we have already gained a fair bit of time. We just need to really attack the next couple of corners and get back within 1 second, because we do not have the pace otherwise. So we need to stay as close as we can to Charles Leclerc to keep up with that DRS and slipstream. And now we've got within a second once again. So as we continue on through this race, just fast forwarding the middle phase of this first stint, there's not really been too much action. Just like I said, with the tow ropes out, trying to keep up with Charles Leclerc and just doing the best job that we can, and just really just waiting until the medium tire stint, and then we may be able to fight Charles Leclerc on the tire compound that I'm more comfortable with. So as we continue on, though,
The car ahead is beginning to pull away.
yeah, we just don't have what it takes right now to fight with Charles Leclerc, but we do manage to stay close until it is time to come into the pits. So here we go, a crucial point in the race. If we get a good pit stop, we may be able to jump him. We did jump Sebastian Vettel in the pits in Canada, I believe, so there is a precedent. We have jumped a Ferrari in the pit lane before, so can we do it again? Come on, boys, we need a perfect stop here, but it's a tiny bit slow, 2.8 seconds, and we're not going to do it. It's a lightning stop by Ferrari to be able to get out ahead of us and actually extend the gap there. So well played, Ferrari, for being able to get that done at their home race. It's a crucial pit stop. There goes Valtteri Bottas. He's made a stop quite early in this race, so Bottas might be on a 2-stop, and as opposed to what I thought, Leclerc seems to be on a 1-stop with us. So that has significantly change the face of this race. Bottas may be on the back foot here with a less than ideal strategy, but we have some traffic to clear with Kevin Magnussen now ahead of us. He's between myself and Charles Leclerc, so let's see if we can make a move on him. But we've got to make a move into the second Lesmo on Kevin Magnussen. We've done it, and that is a really sweet move there on the Dane in the Haas. A much slower car on old tyres, but it's a great move to get ourselves up into P8 and back behind Charles Leclerc. And as we move on through the race up into P5 now, as the rest of the field continue to make their stops. Meanwhile, up ahead, Lewis Hamilton overtaking Kimi Raikkonen, and Charles Leclerc overtaking Antonio Giovinazzi. Them dealing with traffic, trying to bring us, trying to get closer to them as we sit behind Giovinazzi. We may be able to use the DRS from him to try and leapfrog Charles Leclerc as well. We don't quite have the overspeed for that, but we will make the move on Giovinazzi as Leclerc covers us off on the inside, so we can't quite make that dive the way I thought we might be able to. But we've made the move on Giovinazzi, and Kimi Raikkonen has pit, so we don't need to worry about him either. So right now, as it stands, it is Bottas in the lead from Leclerc, and then myself, Bottas with another stop to make. But now Hamilton out of nowhere is down the inside into Parabolica, and Hamilton, he's back in this race. He's fighting with us, and just overtaking us. Lewis Hamilton, where have you come from, and where did you go? But we've got the DRS, we've got a bit of slipstream from Hamilton. Will we be able to re-overtake him around the outside? And we may just be able to do it later on the brakes than the Brit. And we do make the move on the 5-time champion and make our way back up into 3rd position. Hamilton not able to defend from us around the outside line there. And he was going to need to try again later on in this race. So as we continue on, Hamilton, he's lost the back end in a straight line into the wall. That is a massive crash for Lewis Hamilton. He is out of the Italian Grand Prix. Such a good drive comes to an abrupt end for Lewis Hamilton, and he just lost the back end, seesawing away on the wheel, trying to decide which way to go, and he has crashed out of the Italian Grand Prix. Just couldn't decide whether to go left or right. Wheel parked sort of awkwardly between the racing line and where you'd want to go if you're making an overtake, and he could not decide which side to go, and has crashed out of this race. What a disaster for Lewis Hamilton. Last place in qualifying, crashing out of the race, and he will be very disappointed with that. The virtual safety car called. Surprised it's not a full safety car, but there you go, virtual safety car is out. But Valtteri Bottas up ahead does not choose to make a pit stop.
VSC ending, we're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green
But yeah, the virtual safety car ends before he has another opportunity. Maybe the team just weren't ready for him. It was quite soon before he got to the pit lane when the VSC was called. Fiat goes for his second stop. So he's not had a great run today, unfortunately. But yeah, on the less than ideal strategy as well for Fiat. But we continue on, and after the VSC, Leclerc seeming quite slow here in a straight line. We've got the DRS, and we just blaze past him a long time before we get to the corner, and we take the effective lead of the Italian Grand Prix once again. Bottas with another stop to make. We've made the move on Charles Leclerc up into what is currently P2.
Bottas is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 4.4 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 16 laps old. We think they've got one more stop.
And confirmation there that Bottas is making another stop. So we move on. There's Bottas in the pit lane. We take the lead of the Italian Grand Prix once again. This is turning into a fantastic race for us. We might win this thing.
You're in first position, front of the pack. Leclerc is behind you. Okay, the gap behind is 1.7.
And yeah, Leclerc dropping back 1.7 seconds behind us now. He's out of DRS range. We don't really need to worry about him. He's lost pace in the later stages of this one. But Bottas on fresh soft tyres, he's going to be 15 odd seconds behind us at least. And he's going to have a lot of work to do in this race. But that Mercedes is very quick, so I am not counting him out by any means. But for now, we have got this race under control, and we are leading the Italian Grand Prix. But yeah, we really just need to push on and again just run the fastest race we can to the end. And this is the problem though for Valtteri Bottas. He's got, I think that's Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon battling away up ahead of him. He's got Daniel Ricciardo and Charles Leclerc up the road, so he's got traffic to overtake. And there he is losing so much time between those three cars battling away as Russell moves out of the way for us, and we're able to pass him with ease. But yeah, Bottas has got the odds against him here with the traffic and just a huge time gap to us. But we continue on through this race, and we are just trying to push on as best we can. And now caught up to Romain Grosjean, and the timing of this could be crucial. We caught him at the perfect time to get some DRS. He lets us past easily, and those few tenths could be crucial. It is that fine with Valtteri Bottas. So
gap to the car behind is 5.7 seconds. They're on old softs. 3.3 seconds. 1.7 seconds.
And there you go. As we head on to the penultimate lap. Around the second Lesmo, so not even a lap and a half to go now. Bottas is right behind us, and Charles Leclerc is out of the race with a mechanical failure. A disaster for Ferrari. A podium finish in Italy will go amiss for Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari team. What a disaster for the red team here at their home race. That is heartbreaking for them, but we are still flying the flag for the Italians here as Bottas tries to go around the outside of Ascari. Not going to find a way around there though, and we have held on to the lead. But he is so fast, about a second a lap faster than us, at least, probably more. And now he goes for the move down the inside of the first corner. We pinch him to the inside. He's having none of it though. We're going to go for the move, dive down the outside, round the outside of the first corner. He's off circuit on the inside, trying to everything he can to make the move and stay alongside us, but it doesn't work out for him. We've got the lead of the race once again, but Bottas is not going to give up easily as we head through and towards the Della Roggia chicane. Bottas not close enough here. There's only one or two overtaking opportunities left in this race. We've got a yellow flag through the Lesmos, so we're not going to have to worry there. That is Charles Leclerc parked off circuit there, and those yellow flags will certainly help us out, but missing the apex of the second Lesmo. We really didn't need to do that. We should have been a bit more cautious there with the yellow flags out. But here comes Bottas then to the outside line. Is he going to be able to make the move? He's certainly got the overspeed for it. We've got the inside line though as we head into Ascari, and we're going to hold him off. Bottas can't make the move around the outside and through Ascari. We go a little bit wide, but Bottas has got a dreadful exit out of Ascari and towards Parabolica. He's not going to have an opportunity to overtake us, so we are going to come around Parabolica for the final time in the AlphaTauri and onto the main straight in first position. We are going to win the Italian Grand Prix for AlphaTauri. What a race!
Absolutely awesome, just amazing. Well done.
Can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them is losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations, and how well-deserved is this one? This is a team all about giving talented young drivers an opportunity to race and to win. AlphaTauri are your winners here today. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. That lead at the top of the table has shrunk somewhat today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
I cannot believe the race that we just had. My goodness. Front row start. We're able to get the jump on Bottas, and well, we sort of tried to help Charles Leclerc past him. I think Leclerc would have got there anyway, in any case, because he had the pace on the softer compound of tyres. At the end of the day, he would not finish, which actually gave a podium to Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault. So it's a good day for them too. And Ricciardo would be what's going on with the replays there? Ricciardo will be very, very happy to stand on the podium here in Italy. So yeah, what to say about the race that we just had? There's not really anything I can add. It was insane. So yeah, not make any mistakes really, and just managed to hold on. I was so worried at the end when Bottas caught us with, you know, a lap and a half to go. I thought he would just go straight past and we wouldn't have a chance to defend, but you know, we did manage in the laps when he was catching up. When I sort of realized that he was going to get to us before the end of the race, you know, with about 5 laps to go, I thought, you know, he's going to get us here. So I started to save a bit of battery and a bit of fuel, and you know, make sure we could run rich mix for the entire final lap, and make sure that we had plenty of overtake mode to spare as well. And I think that really saved us along that final run to Ascari. I don't think we would have been able to hold him off if we didn't have that reserve of fuel and energy. But yeah, it was a great race for us, and I'm not really expecting to replicate this by the end of the season, but you never know. But unbelievable. Let's get into the interviews.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win?
Far from it. Those last 2 laps with Bottas, you know, right behind us, were very, very difficult to hold him back. But yeah, I made sure that we had plenty of fuel and energy left to deploy, and we held on.
Well, looks like your luck has changed. Things went a lot better than last weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, last weekend we got the strategy wrong, but this time we got it right, really.
It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
I mean, no one, you know, not even me or the team, expected a race win. We thought a podium could have been on the cards, but to get the win is unbelievable.
You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners? Great. Well, that's everything.
Okay. So that brings the end to the Italian Grand Prix weekend. 5-2. Get in the bin, Albon. We absolutely smashed him there. And, well, we could maybe be taking his seat next season. We'll see how that goes. But we level up to 9 on the driver acclaim. So it's all smiles there. But anyway, back to the HQ, and we get some upgrades.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed the quality control. Make sure you indicate what you'd like redeveloped via the R&D screen.
And we also have some upgrades fail. So rear downforce goes on the car. Front downforce unfortunately fails. So yeah, we're going to have an unbalanced car heading into Singapore. But that's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. But yeah, we after practice in this round, we had enough R&D points, and I'm not really sure where to spend them. To be honest,
Me, this is probably what I'd invest in.
Carl is recommending the durability department, but gearbox wear isn't really something we've had an issue with, so I'm not going to spend them there. I think maybe we'll just continue developing the power unit. We've got a minor engine upgrade on the far left that we can do, and that will increase our engine power. I think that's probably the most effective place to spend our R&D points for the time being. continuing work there, where we've obviously got upgrades cooking on the aero side, and then yeah, just continuing the development fairly equally, because our car is fairly well rounded by now, and yeah, we just work on the chassis if we can later on. But we also have the option in a moment, when these resource points come in just now, to do some further work. So against what I just said, I noticed we have a drag update available now, so we're going to go for that. We haven't upgraded the drag at all yet, and I feel like we could gain some advantage from that. Unfortunately, we can only get it in for Russia if we rush it, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so we're not going to do that. We'll have it come in for Japan, and that will help us at tracks like Mexico, Circuit of the Americas, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi, so the rest of the season really. Japan, probably not so much, but even then you've got the run to 130R, which is quite long, and the main straights, so drag reduction is always helpful, and it will always be, it'll always come in handy. But yeah, that has been the best episode of the series so far, I would have to say, by a long way. So let me know if you enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, but other than that, there's not too much else left to cover. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for the round in Singapore. Thank you, and goodbye.